The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Happy draft week, 3 days away from the NFL draft in Pittsburgh. And one of the biggest draft insiders has already flip-flopped his prediction for the Jets. We'll talk about that and much more. It's the Jake Asman Show. Frankie V joins me. Let's hit it and get it started.
Wish you could have been a Jet, Fernando.
Let's see what happens.
What's your message to the Jet fans in New York?
Jets, Jets.
A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you had a great week. It is indeed the Jake Asman Show presented by PrizePicks. Before we get started, big thank you to the best listeners in the universe for helping this channel reach 45,000 subscribers. We know the Jets have not given a product on the field that is worth the support they get from their amazing fans. But to everyone who still tunes in every day to the show year-round, you mean the world to me. And thank you so much for helping us reach the latest milestone just in time for draft week, baby, with the Jets having 4 picks in the top 44. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, I'm sure you do, but just in case you're on the fence, reminder, we're throwing a draft party Thursday. Doors open at McFadden's in Pittsburgh at noon. We'll be there all day. I'll be doing a show live from McFadden's during the day. I'll be live after the Jets make their picks that night for a recap of night 1 from McFadden's. We're going to have a blast. RSVP if you're coming, so I can put you in our raffle for a bunch of signed Jets items. You guys are the best. We're going to have so many Jet fans on site, and I look forward to hanging out with all the Asmaniacs making the trip to McFadden's in Pittsburgh. With that, let's say hello right now to our friend Frankie V from U Stadium and the Gangs All Here podcast with the New York Post. Frankie, 3 days until the NFL draft, man. We are on the precipice of hopefully Jets greatness on night 1.
Hey, man, it's the best week of the year. It's the best week of the year. The weekend's always fun, too. I'm actually looking forward to Thursday being over. We have a draft party. I know you do. It's going to be nice Friday just to kind of hang out, chill at the house or wherever, watch round 2, and then get ready for 2 and 3, and then get ready for day 3, on Sunday. So, yeah, we'll see, man. The Jets have a lot of work to do because – it's not only about, Jake, what they're going to set up their board with and how they're going to, rank their players. They're going to have to be on the phones, man. You got to keep things fluid during the draft. So Muji's got a large task on his plate, but I have confidence in what they're going to do. I really do. I think this will be the start, hopefully, of this turnaround here.
Well, let's hope that they have a real plan and they get it right. I'll tell you what, I love the fact that it feels like no one actually knows what the Jets are going to be doing. Last week we heard it was all Bailey, right? Everyone's saying it's David Bailey, including Todd McShay, who said on Thursday, quote, if I had to put my own money on it right now, it'd be heavily on David Bailey. So I want to call out McShay because while I really respect his draft analysis, he needs to stop pretending like he's an insider because he wrote this morning, quote, the industry, myself included, has flip-flopped on what the Jets will do with the second pick over the last couple of months. He goes, as recently as last week, I felt confident that Bailey was the pick. No, Todd, as recently as 3 days ago, you said publicly that it was going to be Bailey. So the fact that no one seems to know, including McShay, who in the past was very tied into the Jet organization because of his lifelong friendship with Joe Douglas, it just shows you that, give credit to Darren Muji, the Jets aren't leaking like a faucet here where people are aware of what their plans are. Do I think ultimately it will be Arvell Reese? I do. But the fact that so many people in the industry were saying as of a couple days ago, it was going to be David Bailey and they were certain of it, I think that's a good sign that Muji has been very tight-lipped with what the Jets' actual intentions are in this draft.
Yeah, man. I mean, Kaz said it on Gangs All Here. Samini said it on your show. People are speculating and turning speculation into actual news. That should not be the case. I mean, it's becoming almost a play in the media these days where you have content people, and I put McShay in that regard, right? McShay's a content creator, bigger than me, and people like me by far. They're doing shows on Netflix, but they're content people. They're not reporters. So I think the difference there is they're trying to make it appear as if they have these insider sources, Jake, and they're breaking news, and it's disingenuous. It's not real. It's just not. You're making assumptions based on circumstance. It's conjecture, right? You're trying to say, oh, well, Aaron Glenn has to get production out of an edge. Thus, that comes with Bailey. Thus, they're going to draft him. Like, that's not news. That's just your opinion. Like Kaz and Samini have been saying the last couple of weeks, it's a coin flip at this point, and nobody really knows. And the backpedaling that we've been seeing the last couple of days, not only from McShay, I've heard it from a few people, proves that point, doesn't it? We don't know what they're going to do. We might know. I was saying it last week on your show. We might know a day or two before, meaning tomorrow or maybe Wednesday. There may be a clear-cut indication, because the Jets are then going to go around to other teams and say, hey, we're going to draft Bailey or Reese. Maybe you want to trade up, or maybe you want to talk with Arizona, who's going to have one of the two available at 3. We'll put it out there out of good faith, Dallas. Do you want to do something later on, or you want to do something next year? So this is like something that you'll see happening in the next 48 hours. But up until this point, I don't understand how, you could have so much assurance on Bailey or Reese when it doesn't seem like anything actually came from the Jets themselves or Muji.
It's just so disingenuous what people have done here. And like the speculation of, oh, well, they'll take Bailey because he's more ready than Reese. I don't even think a lot of people would necessarily agree with that. If Bailey could just situationally rush the passer in year 1, we've seen where that has gotten the Jets. Will McDonald has had 18.5 sacks the last 2 years. And the Jets, how many games did they win 2 years ago? 5. Last year, 3. They have 8 wins over the last 2 years. So, the idea that, they'll take Bailey because he can get more sacks than Reese, that doesn't discount all the things that Reese could do that maybe help the defense overall. That doesn't necessarily show up in the box score like sacks would. So just the whole reporting on what the Jets will do has been very disappointing, to say the least. And at this point, I do think it's going to be Reese, but no one really knows. And McShay's track record has been so bad during the cycle. Watch it actually now be Bailey after he flipped to Arvell Reese.
Well, listen, I remember I looked at what Schrager, I think last year, said. His final mock had Tyler Warren. The year before, it was actually Brock Bowers. I mean, Schrager's as connected with the Jets as anybody, and he, the last couple of years, hasn't been able to nail that pick. I don't think anyone's going to really know. If there's not a report from Adam or Ian within, a 24 to 36-hour window, I think, in my opinion, we're not going to know until, if it's not from one of them within that window, we're not going to know until the pick's made. Until, Connor Hughes or somebody tweets it earlier than we'd like, because our streams are a little bit slower during draft day, which, if you don't want to spoil the pick, don't be on Twitter, because it will get spoiled.
Or if you want a little insight into how some of these reporters break news on draft picks, they have a login to the NFL system where the picks are inserted. Like I know several reporters. I didn't even know that. Yeah, I learned this when I was down in Houston. There are several reporters who have shared username and passwords. So like the NFL's like database where you have to submit the picks. So if you're ever wondering why, certain reporters are like 5 picks ahead by the time we get to day 3 of where the actual draft is, because they have the login and they can see what's coming in the system. So I'm not saying that's what a specific Jets reporter has access to, but I know for a fact many reporters have that username and login. It gets shared around.
Wow, that's interesting. I never heard that. That's good. That's why you make the big bucks, Jake. I like.
Yeah,
that.
that's exactly why. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Hey, great giveaway today. All right, we're celebrating Jet greatness, trying to manifest greatness this weekend in the draft. Today's raffle prize is a signed helmet. Each side is signed by a different legendary Jet. Curtis Martin and Chad Pennington on one helmet. You enter the raffle. By the end of this show or the second show, you'll have a chance to win that today. And when you do that, you'll be entered in our mega raffle for the NFL draft, which features a signed Joe Namath helmet, signed Nick Mangold helmet, signed Darrelle Revis helmet, signed Garrett Wilson helmet, and I just added this today, a signed Mason Taylor helmet. So 5 prizes for draft weekend, plus end of our shows today, Pennington Curtis signed helmet. Let's go, baby. Shout out to Mike DeRamo, the master of the Asmaniac Madness trophy. He's the first to enter on our shows today. He is gifted 5 channel memberships. Mike, appreciate you. Here are the 5 people who got a membership. Ali Medican, E. Rocco, Team Brobs, Draft Geeks, at DPEC9, Central Florida Jetman, all receiving a membership there. Plus another one from the 1977 T-Man, 1977. Let's go.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, baby.
1977 in our raffle for 1. You know, if it is Reese, I know you're a Bailey guy, Frankie, but I'm curious because you've been watching a lot of Arvell Reese. How would you use him in year 1? Put your personal feelings for the prospect aside. Just if you're Aaron Glenn and you're the coaching staff, you're going Arvell Reese at 2. What's your plan for him in year 1 with the Jets?
Outside linebacker in a 3-4 strictly. I'd play him a little bit inside too. I would shuffle him. I'd play him in a traditional joker role in odd fronts. I would not put him at edge year 1. I wouldn't even put him there. I wouldn't even use him there much at all, unless it's towards the end of the season and you're kind of out of it and you want to just throw him in there. I just think Arvell Reese is a linebacker. I don't project him out to be an edge. I don't think he will be an edge. That's not to say he's not going to be a great football player. So I just want to, separate those two things, because when I say that, people think, oh, well, you think he's going to suck. No, I think he's a linebacker. That's the only difference. So, you want to try him at edge later on in the year? Go ahead. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not against trying something different. But I'd put him at linebacker. I think his strength is his ability to set the edge, his ability to track ball carriers, make tackles in space, spy the quarterback. That's what he does. Why not continue to make him do those things in the NFL? That's what I would do. Bailey's, they're completely, it's funny, they play the same position in completely opposite ways.
Right.
Which is very unique here. They're exactly the opposite here. Bailey's, I'm screaming violently off the edge to the quarterback every time I can. Reese is kind of doing everything besides that. He's not that he's never been asked to do that stuff, because he can scream with a bull rush. And Bailey has shown at times that he can be a little bit better in space than he gets credit for. But for all intents and purposes, when you're judging these prospects, they're literally the polar opposites as edge. So I just keep Reese what he, in the same positions he's been doing. If I'm Glenn, I call up Matt Patricia and I start getting some intel. I mean, Reese did a lot of unique things where, like, he's stemming, like pretending he's dropping in coverage or he's spying, and then he's going to rush the quarterback after a second and a half, and he's getting there within a 3.5 second window. I just don't know how many times you can do that stuff in the NFL. I don't know if a lot of the stuff Patricia did with Reese translates into the NFL for a second overall pick in terms of how much impact that'll actually give you. With that said, he's proven Reese to do so many different things that you got to, I think what they have to do is they have to put together a list of things that they feel like Reese can do at a premium level, and that will actually impact what the defense does, and just have him do that stuff over and over again and develop that stuff out. I keep edge for later on in his development. And they did the same thing with Micah Parsons, actually. I mean, Parsons, he came on as an edge a little faster than people would have thought, but Parsons was like a 1.5, 2-year project edge, and he ended up transitioning into his rookie season. Do the same thing with Reese. Have a 2-3 year plan if you draft him, and then have him play linebacker his first year and second year, and then maybe you start sprinkling in some edge stuff his second year. But I don't even think you need to. There's not another edge really outside of Bailey that I'm that confident in that I'd take at 2 over Reese if you want to have that conversation. So like, take the kid for what he's really good at, develop him out. He is 20 years old. I'll say this though, I won't be happy with the pick because I like Bailey that much. I won't. I think there's a lot of work there with Reese to do in terms of second overall pick value. Not what he can be if he's playing linebacker. It's what the impact is as a second overall pick. There is a ton of work to do. Now, if that work goes really well, Jake, you're going to have one of the best defensive players in the NFL. I understand that. I just think there's a lot of stuff you got to do there. Bailey is kind of like right out the box, man. I like that kid the more and more I watch him. And Reese, I appreciate the stuff he does the more and more I watch him. But I'm a little nervous about his trajectory as an NFL edge. I'm actually very nervous about it. As a linebacker, I'm fine. But as an edge, I'm like, I don't know, man. I'll be honest.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. 3 days till the draft. A lot to get into. Want to get Frankie's thoughts on the workout by Jordan Tyson. I saw you had some tweets about him. Moment plus the Dexter Lawrence deal that broke in the middle of the Knicks win over the Hawks Saturday night. That is a deal that I believe has ramifications that could potentially impact the Jets in their quest for a wide receiver. So we'll get into that shortly. But first, shout out to Roster Dread 305. He is the latest Asmaniac to pay it forward. 5 gifted memberships, which means he's in the raffle 5 times.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive 1 ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
Roster Dread, you were in for 5 for those tuning in late. Signed helmet. Each side of the helmet is signed by a Jet legend, Curtis Martin and Chad Pennington. So if you want in, gift the membership like the Austrian Jet fan just did. Let's go.
They wrote me off. I ain't right back, though.
He is in for 1. So in terms of the wide receiver pursuit for the Jets, it's no secret they need help at the wide receiver spot. Everyone around the league knows it. You just look at the depth chart and you could see it. Where they are at 16, though, there's no guarantee the one they want is going to be there. And I believe, Frankie, after the Dexter Lawrence deal, it's now even less likely that the Jets are in position to get one of the receivers they covet without moving up, because I think the Giants now at 5 and 10 after just robbing the Bengals for Dexter Lawrence over the weekend. I think one of those picks has a strong possibility to be a wide receiver. We know Joe Shane flew out to the pro day that Jordan Tyson held specifically for teams interested because he wasn't healthy enough for the combine or the normal Arizona State one. So you look at the draft order now, this obviously isn't updated to reflect the Giants at 10, but the Giants have been linked to a receiver as early as 5. Felt a little early, but let's say they don't go receiver at 5. They could take Sonny Styles. They could take Caleb Downs. Maybe they like Jeremiah Love, wherever the case may be. 6, Cleveland's been linked to Tate. So all of a sudden, let's say Tate's off the board at 6. New Orleans has been linked to a receiver. Cincinnati, they weren't going to go wide receiver, but the Giants now certainly could. So all of a sudden, that's another team that needs a receiver. Miami needs a receiver. The Rams have been linked to a receiver. You can see where I'm going. If the Jets want to get, it's possible. If the Jets want to get one of the quote-unquote top receivers in this class, there's a strong chance they're going to have to move up from 16 and maybe go all the way up to 7 with the Commanders, as we've been speculating. I only think it's more likely that if they're dead set on coming away with a wideout, they make that move because the Giants at 10 are now lurking as a spot for Jordan Tyson.
Yeah, I mean, nobody had the Bengals taking a wide receiver there. Nobody. And so you're just swapping out a team that does have a receiver need in the Giants. I don't think it's pressing, though. When you have Malik Neighbors, Jake, you don't need necessarily a wide receiver. I know he's coming off an ACL, but it's not as much of a need as it is for, Washington or Cleveland. So I don't put that as like a primary need, especially they need some offensive line help too. There's a couple positions on offense that the Giants might look at, running back. I'm not, I don't know if this ruins our chances at getting one of the top three necessarily, but the Jets might have to really be creative on draft day if they want Tate, Tyson, or Lemon. Jake, I cannot freaking rank these three, man. I have never, ever gone through three players at one position, and I legitimately can't stack up which one I like, 1, 2, or 3 out of the three. I just can't. It's like it's stumping me every other day. I have a new thought. Last night or 2 nights ago, I was like, you know what? Mekhi Lemon's going to be Puka Nacua. Why are we overthinking this? Why? The guy is feisty, never gives up, great after the catch. Yeah, he's a little bit undersized. They said that about Puka and Amon-Ra and Parker Washington and JSN. The guy's a dog. He's going to be good if you get him open. But then I'm like, well, he's small. And look at Tyson, how freakish he is. And look at Carnell Tate that just does everything right and always is there and catches everything in his catch radius. I can't make a decision on these three. With that said, the Jets have to be aggressive for one of those three. I don't care which one it is. You have to develop one of those three. Tate, Lemon, or Tyson. I've gotten to the point where take any of them. I probably prefer Tyson because of the upside, but it comes with an injury risk. And the way he moves, you can see why he's had knee and hamstring issues. But I'm fine with Tate also. I have these guys like 1A, 1B, 1C. I really do. Maybe 1A Tyson, 1B Tate, and 1C Lemon, but that might change before Thursday, honestly. So make a move for one of them, though, Jake. But you have to see what happens. I think the Jets are in a good spot where, like, if you want to throw that up really quick, because I was looking at something. So I think if after Miami at 11, if Lemon, Tyson, or Tate's there, you have to call Dallas. You have to jump in front of the Rams or the Ravens to get that wide receiver. So I'm looking at 12 there. Miami, you're not going to do anything with them. They're in division. Maybe after, So I'd look at there after 11. You might need to move up as much as 7. But Jake, I think they're going to want the Commanders more than 44. When you look at the need at receiver for those other teams, you just pointed them out, right? New Orleans could use a receiver. Kansas City's always going to look to give Patrick another weapon there. The Giants are at 10. Miami needs a receiver now. Waddle's out of there, and Hill is not there. So I don't know what you're going to do there, Jake. You're going to have to give up 44 and something in the future, man. It's gonna be expensive, I think, to go from 16 to 7 when the need at receiver is so pressing for the teams behind Washington.
They don't have a choice though, because they put themselves in this spot where they haven't addressed receiver. I mean, AD Mitchell maybe could be your number 3. Isaiah Williams was your punt returner, kick returner. He's projected to be your slot right now. I think we all expect more from Mason Taylor at tight end this year to be more involved as a pass catcher, but they didn't address it in free agency. I suppose there could be the Brian Thomas Jr. trade that's been rumored. That's still a possibility. Doesn't feel like that's going to happen. We know A.J. Brown's going to be dealt to the Pats. He would never be an option for the Jets. Like, you kind of go around it here. Like, what really is the alternative if they want to get a receiver? They could wait at 16, but, like, do you want Omar Cooper at 16 or Denzel Boston at 16? That feels a little early for Boston. Maybe you could sell me on Cooper, but he's mostly been a slot guy, and you want to play Garrett Wilson in the slot. And if you're going to get a slot guy, I'd rather be aggressive and get Mekhi Lemon, who's my favorite receiver in the class. I think Tate is the safest. I like Mekhi the best. But again, Muji's got to be really smart here, and he's been good with trades. So if they're going to make a trade, you got to put your faith that he knows what he's doing once again in terms of understanding the value and where these guys are supposed to go and where he needs to get to if he wants one of those guys.
Yeah. I think the move there is call Washington at 7, see what it costs. I would do it assuming because I think the cost will be fair, assuming all 3 receivers are available. I think then they might be open and say, all right, you want Tate, you want Tyson, we'll do something. But if one of the receivers is already picked, let's say Cleveland had picked one, or maybe even the Giants got one at 5. I've read some things that they're looking at, maybe Tyson, just getting him at 5. and then worrying about BPA, defensive player, at 10, just so they don't risk not getting Tyson at 10. With that said, yeah, call Washington, see what it could cost. If it too much, Jake, wait. I would call Dallas at 12 if one of those three, because I think those three are really good, by the way. I think Tate, Tyson, and Lemon, all in their own right, are very good wide receivers. They're not Jamar Chases, but they're a tier below, but really good. They'll be successful in the NFL if they're coached up right and they play with in a decent system with a good quarterback. All three of those, I have no doubt about any of those three. Call Dallas at 12. If it doesn't work, I would look at 33, honestly, unless Omar Cooper Jr. is there at 16. I'd look at 33, Jake, and I would reach a little bit. If you haven't gotten a receiver at 2 and 16, I would reach for one of these three guys I've listed down. So Jeremy Bernard, 1, not ranked out. I just have them. Jeremy Bernard, Chris Brazzell, or who I really like. It's going to be a reach, but hey, you gotta make aggressive moves to play ball. Chris Bell out of Louisville. I'm a big Chris Bell fan. I am very high.
30 visit.
Yeah, and they did. Yeah, they brought him on the top 30 visit. Reminds me a lot of if you threw in a pot Anquan Bolden, Quincy Enunwa, and you just combine those two, and Deebo Samuel, you just combine those three players in a pot, you come out with Chris Bell. Look at what Chris Bell did against Miami a few weeks before he had torn his ACL. Look at what he did. He cooked Miami, and they actually won Louisville. Miami was undefeated at the time, had over 170 yards. Look at what he did the week before. Chris Bell's big time. It's going to take him some time, though. He's probably not going to be ready to go full speed next season, but you're looking in a long-term window. Also, when you look at from 33 to 44, there's a ton of teams there that also need receivers that I think when they put on Chris Bell's tape, they're going to take him where he won't be there at 44. I'm fine with the Jets. If they didn't take a receiver at 2 and 16, I'm good with Chris Bell at 33. I know it's a reach. We don't have a third-round pick, though. We're not going to be able to move around much between 44 and 33, I don't think. Go and get Chris Bell at 33, or Chris Brazzell's another interesting guy. I mean, you're talking a guy with 4.3 speed at 6'4" that can stretch the field. And Jeremy Bernard's a little bit of an everything guy. He can play underneath. He can play over the middle really well because he's really physical. But he's also he's got enough juice where he could do stuff down the field. I would look at those three guys at 33. I'm more prone to do that than taking Denzel Boston at 16. He doesn't want to run a 40-yard dash for whatever reason. They've been asking him. He didn't do it at the combine. He didn't do it at the pro day. He does not want to run a 40. I don't know.
Well, you know why? He's not fast. That's why he doesn't want to run it.
That's a red flag, though. I mean, they said the same thing about Keon Coleman. Remember him coming out, big body, guy can make, is great at getting contested catches. But if you can't separate because you can't move, this game, you got to be fast, man. I'm sorry. You don't have to be 4.3 fast. I'm not like all about the 40 time, but like, why don't you want to run a 40? That's kind of weird to me. I'm not taking you at 16. I could be wrong, but I just think that to me is just strange. And he doesn't look that fast on film. I have seen him make plays where he looks like Ted McMillan, but Ted McMillan's pretty twitchy at times. I don't know if Denzel Boston is the kind of guy you want to reach at 16 for when you have 33 and 44, two spots that you can get a receiver. That I think a few of these guys in at 33 and 44 are going to be better than Denzel Boston, especially with those red flags.
Yeah, I would not take Boston at 16.
I would not at all. I think that's a massive reach, Jake.
I'd try and move out of 16 and get extra picks.
I'm down with that.
And then potentially take Boston just so I at least could get something. I think 16 is a reach to take him. I'm not his biggest fan. If he's there at 33 and they took him, that's a different conversation. But I'm not so sure he'll be there. So we will see on that. A huge shout out to Rick Kent, who is the latest listener to drop 5 memberships. He's in our raffle for the signed helmet by both Chad Pennington and Curtis Martin on the show today. Let's go.
The Jet fans getting a little crazy.
Fireman Ed, by the way, will be making an appearance at the U Stadium draft party. How about that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nick's not the biggest Jets chant guy because I don't know, he just doesn't like to do it. He thinks it's not right at this moment. He's like, we have to start winning before we start doing the Jets chant. So I'm like, Nick, he's gonna do it at the party, man. You're gonna have to do it with him. I'm not doing it.
Nick from U Stadium. He claims to be a Jet fan. I think that is highly debatable.
You know what? All right. So there is a sect of Jets fandom or Twitter or whatever you want to call it, Jet fans, that they want the worst things possible to happen, so they just change everything. Like really, like as if we haven't crashed and burned already. Like we're picking up the scraps right now. Like how much worse you want to run us over when all the scraps are on the ground? It's always interesting. This season's gonna be fun, ain't it?
Oh, you can feel the magic in the air, baby. It's all happening. Hey, shout out to Shane who says Mason Taylor's gonna have a breakout year and I need his helmet. Well, Shane, you're now in the weekly raffle for 2. Let's go, baby. Yeah. Super chat here from Adam who says Jacoby Lane receiver, Grayson Halton defensive tackle, Drew Aller QB, Micah Morris offensive guard. They've had both combine and pro day visits. These are all day 2 to 3 picks. Thoughts? Well, yes, because none of them would go in the first round. But if you're saying they're day 2 to 3, like that's all they could be. If you're specifying these are all second or third round picks, if that's what you mean, Adam, I don't think Drew Aller goes in the third round. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, the one quarterback I think is going to go earlier than people think is the Miami kid.
Carson Beck.
Yeah. I think honestly, guys and gals, I think Carson Beck's gonna go maybe in the late second round, early third. I think a team's gonna look at his tape. I know there's some scouts that really, really like Carson Beck. Aller, another guy, has all the tools, but something upstairs doesn't click. That kid's got to sit somewhere for 3-4 years. I just, with the Jets, man, either get a quarterback that could compete or don't get a quarterback at all, right? Like, that's my opinion. Ty Simpson, can he come in and compete this year? I don't think so. I don't think he's ready. Ty Simpson's a project, just like Drew Aller, just like Carson Beck, just like any quarterback in this draft outside of Fernando Mendoza. They're all projects. They're all 2 to 3 year guys. I don't see any of them being able to come in and compete right away. I actually think some of the guys last year that we used to speak about, Will Howard, that I like. I think he was in a better spot to go in somewhere and potentially compete if he didn't get hurt in camp than any of the guys in this draft. I'm being honest. He had a bunch of starts under his belt. Will Howard, he led championship teams. So this draft with quarterback, I know last year, Jake, we were talking about drafting a guy on day 3. If they want to bring somebody in just to fill the room and have a backup, that's fine. But there's nobody in this draft that's going to be competing with Geno week 1, right? And do you think if they even draft one, they're going to give them the opportunity to?
Only Ty Simpson, if he's taken in round 1 or the second round, will get a chance to play when the Jets are inevitably out of it if Geno can give us the Fitzpatrick year, Like, I don't think anyone else is really going to push Geno.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Unless, if Ty can come into camp and just flip a switch and, get his body right. That's another thing. He's got to put on 15 pounds, that kid. He's so skinny.
Well, he's 215 now, or he was at the combine. He was down to 190 because of the gastritis.
Okay.
That caused him to lose all the weight. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know how much bigger he can really get from like 215.
That's true. Yeah.
He's 6'1". It's not like he's like he's not built to be 230, I don't think.
Yeah, 230 is a little bit much. He's going to start looking like Dexter Lawrence out there.
Dexter Lawrence is he's eating well from what I saw on social media over the weekend.
Hey, there's a reason why New York City has the best steakhouses in the world, right?
Hey,
just see Dexter Lawrence right there.
Brian with the super chat. Shout out to you, Brian. You're in our raffle for 2. Appreciate you. Question for both of you. What do you think the environment will be like in MetLife if we somehow finally get a home playoff game? It will be the greatest environment in professional sports over the last 25 years. I mean, I was at the Rodgers debut game, and that was like unbelievable. Like it didn't feel like anything I've ever been a part of. Like it was just, the crowd was just insane. Like it was just electric. And this will be that times 10, times 20. Like it's just, I can't imagine what it will look like because they haven't had a home playoff game since the 2002 season with Chad and Chad Pennington or Chad and Curtis Martin, I should say, leading the offense. But man, a Jet home playoff game, the first they've ever had at MetLife. The tickets for that, holy hell, the environment's going to be insane.
I think it'll be like $1,000, you know. It's gonna be madness.
The dream is a home AFC title game.
Yes,
that's the dream.
Yeah.
This won't happen this year, but that's the dream.
Yeah, man. It's this franchise needs it, man. And as I was talking to somebody about this too. You have a lot of young kids now that, unless their family or their dads or moms or whomever, uncles, aunts are big Jet fans, if they're not, these young kids, man. My little cousin, he's a Chiefs fan, you know, because he loves Mahomes. Like a lot of these young kids, they're now looking at the Jets and saying, "Oh, I want to become a Jets fan." You're really losing generations of fandom here amongst fans. Now they can always switch back, right? Kids are fans of this team, and then when they're 12 or 15 or 20, they can always switch. But I don't know, man. This team's got to start winning, man. It's been real dark out here.
It's been tough, but
it has.
Look, at the end of the day, all it takes is 1 year where it clicks, right coach, right quarterback comes together, and we are certainly due. We are certainly due. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. More draft talk with Frankie V coming up. Plus, I want to get into your calls. Today is a big day for the Asmaniac community as we will continue the Elite Eight in Asmaniac Madness this afternoon. Here's your look at the bracket. Congratulations to Chef Kevin. Big upset on Saturday, knocking off the #1 overall seed, Kyle Clifton, to win the inside-outside region. That means this afternoon today, it's Leany, the 16th seed, against the #2 seed in the Dangerous Alliance region, the big fella. It's all going down during our second show today at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure you're ready to vote for that. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we get to your calls and more of your super chats. Frankie V from U Stadium is with me. Jake Asman with you. Draft 3 days away, baby. Let's go.
NFL Draft 2026 live from Pittsburgh. All Jets fans, we're looking forward to seeing you. Clock's ticking. Time's almost up. Game 3 takeover at McFadden's. Jets, E-T-S, Jets. Hosted by the Jake Asman Show.
Thursday, April 23rd, doors open at noon.
Have you ever asked your wife for a hall pass and this is the result? Here at Big Fella Industries, we believe in 3 things: apple pie, America, and the sanctity of marriage. Do y'all want emotional fallout, complicated conversations, and jealousy? Once you cross that line, there is no turning back, and hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Now let me introduce you to the Marriage Saver 2000. It's the device that turns up the spice without any of the hang-ups or regret. The Marriage Saver 2000 is private, discreet, and you don't need permission, so there's no nagging. The Marriage 2000 is also quite versatile. You can switch in and out the parts, and it's like having a different partner every night. Don't emasculate yourself by getting a hall pass, and if you have one, shred it, especially that golden ticket. What you need is the Marriage Saver 2000. It will do the trick. At Big Fella Industries, we say the key to a long-lasting and successful marriage is right in the palm of your hands. Thank y'all.
And that's why I say we couldn't have done it without you. Thanks, Big Fella.
Get ready, baby. This afternoon, Big Fella and Leany head-to-head for a spot in the Final Four in Asmaniac Madness. More of your calls, or by more, we will get to your calls coming up shortly, but I have some super chats to hit. But first, shout out to Kelly, who gifted a membership to enter our raffle. Thank you, Kelly. We got you down 1041. Super chat here from Bo, who writes in, unfortunately, I feel like the flexibility we had at 33 is now a key piece in obtaining a receiver. 2 and 16 have to be starters. Trade is happening. Potentially, Bo. But I think if the Jets are trying to move up, let's say using 16 and 44, my advice to Darren Muji would be, what if you turned 33 into more picks by moving back and acquiring a third rounder that the Jets currently don't have? So I think there's a strategy where they can move up and move down. I think a lot of Jet fans would, really be on board with that type of, strategic mastery by Darren Muji if you could pull something like that off.
Yeah, it would. The only thing there is, so what are you willing to give up though, Jake? That's the question. Like what?
16, 44, and one of the forts I'd be willing to do to move up.
Yeah.
To 7.
Yeah, I would too. What if Tate gets picked at 6? Are you doing that at 7 for Tyson or Lemon?
I don't think I would move up for them.
Okay.
I think I would move up potentially to, as you mentioned earlier, the Dallas spot at 12.
Dallas is a good spot.
Because that wouldn't cost as much,
No, I wouldn't. That might cost us of like next year's 3. And just, I know that's rich. It might be less than that, but let's just say if you want to get aggressive and say, we'll give you a 3 next year, Lemon's on the board. We know the Rams might want him, or even Baltimore. Tampa might want him too. I mean, they just, Mike Evans is out of town. You can justify receiver for any of those teams between, Dallas and us there. So you could justify receiver for 90% of the teams after, I don't know, the whole top 15, man, could use a receiver, right? The only team that can't or that wouldn't, I would say, is who? Tampa. But even them, they don't have Mike Evans. Maybe they want a slot guy with Igbuka. So Lemon would make sense.
They still got Godwin, though, and they still have, what's his name, who's solid.
Yeah, the kid that had a big senior
McMillan
last year. McMillan's good, and then they have the other kid.
Cash Money Mike checking in. Is it possible the Giants trade with the Jets to take Tate at 2 and then move up to get their defensive player at 7, whether it's Bain, Bailey, Reese, or Downs? Thanks, Jake and Vinny. Remember he called you Vinny one time? Good call back. Look, I don't think the Jets and Giants are going to do a deal like that. I don't think the Giants are moving all the way up to 2 for Carnell Tate. I think the Giants, if they want Carnell Tate, there's a strong chance he's on the board at 5, and they just take him there.
Yeah, totally. I think they're going to do that, though. I do. I think they're going to take one of the wide receivers at 5, and then 10.
Why not 10?
Because they don't. Because they're going to have their pick at the litter at 5 at any receiver they want, basically, unless Tennessee gets one, and then at 10, maybe they have Downs or Sonny Styles sort of equal graded there, and they'll just hope that one of them goes there and go BPA. Maybe they'll take Vega Ioane, by the way. Wouldn't that be an interesting draft from them if they end up at 5 taking Tate and then they get Vega?
I would take Styles and Downs if I'm the Giants.
I was thinking about that too.
That's what I would do. I would take Styles and Downs 5 and 10, and everyone's going to say they won the draft.
When that trade initially happened, that's the first thing that popped in my mind.
Me too. That's what I tweeted. I go, they're going to end up with Styles and Downs now. And it was like Styles or Downs. Now they could get both potentially.
Yeah, and then they had the reports about how much they like Tyson's workout, and they met for dinner, etc. So yeah.
Sam says, Frankie, how many games of Boston did you watch? Who are you comparing him to?
I watched a bunch of his games, man. And now I'll be honest. I watched his game against Ohio State, which he didn't do anything in, and Oregon, which he did catch 2 touchdowns, but I think he had like 26 yards or something. He had less than 50 yards in both those games. So I was watching him against the best competition. Had a really good game against Illinois. He's not a bad player. He's too much of a one-trick pony receiver. He doesn't really have the speed to cut in and out of his breaks. I do compare him a little bit I compare him like Keon Coleman and Ted McMillan, if you want to combine them, right? Which isn't a bad thing. I have a 2nd round grade on the guy, mid to late 2nd rounder. I just don't want to go as high as 16. He does not want to run a 40. And if Keon ran a 4.6, that's proven to be a death sentence for some of these receivers, especially if your route tree isn't developed enough. They're going to have to develop Keon Coleman's route tree. Denzel, I think, does some things better than Keon when it comes to contested catches. I need to see more, though, in and out of the breaks, and I need to see more of a route tree for me to feel comfortable with us taking him at 16. I just don't see – you look at Jeremy Bernard or Chris Bell, I don't see Denzel Boston separating himself as a prospect that much more than those guys. What about Chris Brazzell? You want someone that's 6'4" that can get down the field and be a big body receiver. That kid runs a 4.3 and change. He's a burner. Maybe he's a better option. And a lot of people have Boston ahead of him. I don't know. It's just something to think about. 16 is a high pick. You don't want to take a project wide receiver, which a lot of these guys I just brought up are. I think the project starts after Omar Cooper Jr. Then you start project labeling guys. Can they do this, or that? If they can't, they're not going to be worth getting picked in the first half of the first round, which is where, 16 is. So I watched a ton of ball. I watched a ton of all these receivers. I didn't like Boston's game against Ohio State, but again, it's Ohio State. But again, that's the kind of players you're going to play in the NFL. You want to comp someone who would NFL defense play Ohio State. He had a huge game in a blowout to, I forget what game it was. I don't know. They scored 60 points the week before, I think, Ohio State, and he had a big game. And then the next week he did nothing. I don't know.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Tom Roseman, shout out to you. You're in the raffle for one. Gifted a membership to listener Connor 7158. Let's see here. Bino says, Jacob, after attending Briganomics course at Brigham State, I'm voting Leany. So Bino now throwing his support behind Leany in Asmaniac Madness. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Ladies and gentlemen, first up today on the day she's in action for a chance to head to the Final Four. It's Queen Leany.
Is this Mike D's nuts?
No, it's Queen Leany. The silver hair beauty. She loves the Jets. Leany used one punch to take down the beast. Queen Leany is the best. The Asmaniac home pass. It's Queen Leany.
Whoa, it's Harley Quinn.
Hello, Mr. Asman and all the Asmaniacs. Let me introduce myself. I'm Harley Quinn. Pleased to meet you. Well, I'm here on official business, so let me get right to the point. I know that there's a big battle today going against the big fella and Leany and NC this afternoon. And I also know that the Bat fella has made an appearance on your show, and he's trying to get all your followers to vote for the big fella in Asmaniac Madness. I won't have it. Leany and NC is a really cool chick. She's nice, she's kind, and she's got a great heart. Nothing like me. I'm rotten to the core. She's been a Jet fan since she was 5 years old. She's 62 now. So how many seasons? I don't know. Whatever. You do the math. I just don't understand how she can be such a dedicated fan when the team hasn't been to the playoffs in 15 years. Whatever. Hey, Jake, can I ask you a question?
Sure, Harley.
Have you seen the Bat fella today at all lurking around?
I haven't seen him just yet. He could be anywhere.
Okay, well, I need to go find him and make sure that he's not around for the voting this afternoon. There's no way I'm going to allow him to get in between Leany and NC getting to that Final Four. And actually, I have seen the big fella lurking in the chat. You know what? You better watch out because Leany's going to be hard to beat. Well, like I said, I got to get running. So everybody vote for Leany and NC. And remember, Bat fella, I'm coming for you.
Asmaniac Madness is underway. Make sure you vote to make your voice heard.
Bravo, Leany. Bravo. What a
I read
performance.
some of the comments during that. I was dying, dude.
No
so
longer
like Charles
16,
Gorman's
Steve.
gonna love this.
She's no longer a 16. seat, folks. She is a live Asmaniac.
Big fella's
this afternoon.
Got a big task in front of him this afternoon.
Unbelievable. Great job by Harley Quinn there. Love it. Can't wait for the battle this afternoon. Again, the schedule for Asmaniac Madness today, it's Leany and the big fella. Tomorrow afternoon, it's Gary and Bonesy.
Ooh.
Wednesday afternoon, subject to timing, because I'm trying to figure out when I'm going to go live Wednesday. I have a flight to Pittsburgh in the morning. So assuming everything's on time, we'll hopefully be able to do something around our normal 4 p.m. window. Gorman and PBM. And then the final four will be set. We'll pause the tournament and resume it next week once we get through the NFL draft weekend and all the reaction to what the Jets do in the draft. With that, let's get to more of your calls right now. And we just heard from Leany. Now let's hear from Kyle Clifton.
Bravo, Lean. The best part about that Leany bit is she doesn't even have to put on the accent. It's baked in.
Her Long Island roots coming out there.
That's right. Yeah, I think that, it's bringing out the best of Leany this tournament. I think that she deserves my full-throated endorsement. I think she's going to do damage starting later today. So let's. I can't wait to see them throw down in the PM.
She was great. I'm with you, Kyle. It's big fella and Leany's. That's an epic afternoon matchup.
Yep. Listen, I think we're being way too hard on Denzel Boston here. He's probably not going to be the best player available at 16, but to me, he's probably the fourth best option at receiver. And, to Frankie's point, he didn't do anything in that Ohio State game, but I think that's mostly because Caden Curry and Caden McDonald were living in the backfield in that game. They had 5 of the 6 sacks against Washington, and the quarterback there was running for his life. So, to me, it's just a matter of I like the guy's short area quickness. I love his strength, his hands. I think that, his agent has told him not to run a 40, but he increased his vert from the combine 2.5 inches, and it's right there pressing up against the elite, vert. When you know where you're going and you can change direction at that size and you have strong hands, it's pretty hard to beat. It's something that could be a winning. I see him more as Tet than Keon is basically what I'm basically trying to say here. That doesn't mean that he will be Tet. He could be Tet light, but I think the Keon comparisons are a little bit out of line because I think he's been a little disappointing, to be frank with you. So that's my thing. I'm endorsing us possibly coming up from 33 to take Boston if he falls a little bit and the value's there. But obviously I want to see who's going to be there at 16 for us to take at wideout. I don't want to come up from 16 for one of these wideouts.
Well, that's actually an interesting perspective because we've talked about the Jets moving up from 16. They could use 33 and move back into the end of round 1 and get a receiver that way too. Let's say they go Reese at 2, take the best player at 16. Maybe it's Thieneman, maybe it's Vega, maybe it's, I don't know, one of the corners that falls, although I'm vehemently against that, but let's just say it's someone that's not a receiver. And then they could, to your point, move back into the end of round 1. They do have the ammunition to do that, and it's a lot cheaper than going from 16 to 7 if that's their plan.
Right. I mean, be opportunistic. When someone who's not supposed to be there is there, you take them. And, if Denzel Boston is there at 27, 28, and it's going to take a future third to come up and get him, do that.
Can I say one thing though? The reason I made the comparisons, I just put them side by side. I just threw it up here. The NFL Combine breakdown on Keon and Denzel. Man, they're literally identical across the board in everything: height, weight, hand size. Actually, Keon Coleman had a higher vert, 38 inches, whereas Boston was at 35. They gave Keon Coleman an 80 score, but Denzel a 78. Listen, I actually think Denzel's better at contested catches than Keon Coleman is. I actually do. But Kyle, if he doesn't get his route tree down or show a little bit more explosiveness in open space on a secondary route option where you got to do, like a stop and go and really get that corner off his feet, he's going to struggle to be a wide receiver 1 or 2A or something, or 1B. Like, I'm talking 16 here, Kyle. If you're telling me you want to get Denzel Boston at 33, all right.
I'm not saying 16.
Yeah. Because I've heard 16 is now like the new thing with Denzel. I know Rich was talking about that the Jets like Boston. Maybe he didn't say 16 per se, but so, I mean, don't just take him. And to me, Kyle, I wouldn't put him as the 4th receiver. He's definitely in the bottom of the top 10 receivers for me here. You're talking like 9, 10, or 11. Chris Bell ranked ahead of Denzel Boston. I don't see why not. Chris Bell would have been a top 15 pick if he didn't tear his ACL. Everyone comes back nowadays usually from their ACL injury. So, yeah, will it take him time? Like it took Jameson Williams a little bit of time. Yeah, but I think you're going to get a lot of squeeze out of that if you're a little patient with him. But, again, my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, he did get at his pro day up to 37.5. So he's right there with Keon as far as the vert goes. To me, I look at the 3-cone stuff like that, where
3-cone was really good.
It was good, and that's
for his size. Yeah, it was good
for his size. It's really good, and you're looking at a guy who is chiseled. So it's just a matter of To me, I think he can be a productive pro. I think that the Keon Coleman comparisons are a little unfair. And he's one of my favorite guys outside the top 3. That's all I'm saying. And that doesn't mean I like Chris Bell. It's just the injury maybe pushes him down a little bit. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate your time, guys.
Kyle, thank you. Super chat from Sam, who says, how was Boston's quarterback play? Where would you rank his QB compared to other QBs you watched?
It was okay. The quarterback was throwing it up there for him. So I remember in that Ohio State game, I think Denzel Boston was 3rd in yards on the team out of those receivers there. So I mean, like, yeah, I get that you're playing Ohio State, but when the competition got better, Denzel Boston disappeared a lot of times. And I don't think the quarterback play was anything to scoff at when you're looking at a quarterback or when you're looking at a wide receiver to draft. I mean, it's not the end all be all that, like, his quarterback, Demon Williams was pretty good at times. Look at what he did the week before that. They put up 60 points. I think he had 300 yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns he had in that game. We had 1 rushing. So Demon Williams, if you're looking at a prospect, it's not the worst, quarterback in the world. I'm not saying he's somebody that he's not Julian saying, but who is, he wasn't a detriment enough where you can't properly judge Denzel. And Denzel had 2 really good years there. I mean, he had over 800 yards in both years and get 11 touchdowns this past year, 9 the year before. So we'll see.
Super chat from Dana. Thank you, Dana. History of receivers to average less than 2 yards per route run bad.
I think Boston's on that list, and I think Casey Concepcion's also on that list. And to be frank, it just happened that those are 2 guys I'm lower on than most people, Boston and Concepcion. I'm not as high as the community on either of those guys.
More of your calls right now. But first, I want to shout out the 420 people watching live. It's 420 today, too. So how about that?
Right.
Hit the like button. We only have
leaving early, Jake?
No, man. I'm working late tonight. And I'm going Then I'm going to the Garden to watch the Knicks hopefully go up 2-0 later. 45,000 subscribers on this channel. Big thank you to everyone who's been a part of the ride. Our next goal is to get to 50K by the start of the Jets season. Can it be done? Maybe, maybe not. But I do know we're going to be here for you every step of the way. More of your calls right now, shall we? Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline. We say hello to Stefan, who's standing by. Hello, Stefan.
Hey, how you doing today?
What's up, Stefan?
Not too much. Happy the draft is finally here.
Yes, sir.
Good to see you again, Frankie.
What's up, my man? How you doing, bro?
Doing well. You enjoy that date I sent you last week?
Very, very good, man. Don't bring it up though, because you might have.
Not touching that, man. That's your fault.
Stefan is a Jets X Factor guy, but behind the scenes, he's not as in love with Arvell Reese as
he's a Bailey bro.
He's a Bailey bro. So
wow.
I don't know if he's a Bailey bro.
Whoa.
He's
putting words in my mouth.
Yeah, no. He's objective about Arvell, and I feel like he has a confidence.
They will be both great players. They'll both be great players. It's just, I'm a bit concerned about Arvell Reese's lack of pass rushing snaps and going from linebacker to defensive end. Meanwhile, David Bailey's kind of been elite at defensive end for the last several years. But, I feel you can't go that wrong. It's just how well are the Jets could be able to develop Reese. Looks like we lost Frankie.
Yeah, my camera. Hold on, guys.
Frankie?
Sorry.
Well, look, I mean, they obviously need to have a plan for Reese if you're taking him, but I just think the fact that he could do so many different things, like if you're a defensive coach, that should be quite appealing for you if you're Aaron Glenn. Like the fact that you have a guy that could be game plan specific, have a different role. Like you're facing Josh Allen, maybe you need him to be in there and spy more. You're facing a more statue drop back quarterback. Maybe that's a week where he's rushing the passer more. Oh, you think you could play him in coverage? Like there's just. You watch his game tape, and he could just do a lot of different things. I mean, he played 56% of his snaps at outside linebacker, 38 at inside linebacker, 6% as a DB. You can line him up all over the field. He had only 97 pass rush snaps last year, but he was double teamed on 41 of them. Why? Because he was really good at it. Look at the efficiency grading. And then he got double teamed 11 times over his last 2 games. If he can't rush the passer, why were teams going out of their way to try and take him out of their pass rush game plan the last 2 games of the season? Like that to me would be part of this as well.
No, that's definitely fair. I'm not saying he can't rush the passer. It's just, as he said himself, he doesn't know how to.
Well, he's been coached to do it. He hasn't been coached to do it. Now he's working with a pass rush specialist to get ready for the draft, and the Jets have a good D-line coach.
He got his Netflix team out there, Arvell Reese, to make himself look really good. Is Arvell Reese coming out with a documentary? Is he gonna have a YouTube thing about how bendy he is? They're gonna have the camera angles really low, looking all nice, all chiseled out.
I'm waiting for a player to do that, bump up their stock. Could be a day 2, day 3 guy that's like, I'm gonna raise it on social media.
I'm messing around a little bit. I think
he'll be a great player. It's just I'm always a bit concerned about tweeners. There's a lot. I just don't know a lot of chess pieces in the NFL. But then again, there's not a lot of players like Reese in college. So definitely believe he could be a great player. I'm just a bit skittish given the Jets' history of swinging high on potential and missing.
The thing is, in my opinion, if Bailey wasn't in this draft, let's just say he didn't exist, I'd be a lot more okay with taking Reese at 2. I would take him over Bain because of Bain's deficiencies in arm length, which I think will come back to bite him eventually. It is what it is in the NFL. I ignored him with Will Campbell, who I really liked, and obviously there's something there. I just think you want an edge. There's one staring you right in the face. Don't overcomplicate it. I think with Reese, you're starting to overcomplicate what he could be as an edge with all this projection, but
he's already an elite linebacker, so let him do both.
It's tough to do both. It's a tough game, man.
That's why he's going 2 though, because he can do both.
LeBron James could hit threes, and
he can hit threes.
Can he?
Yeah.
If LeBron James could hit threes like Steph Curry, then we wouldn't even be having the GOAT debate. I'm just saying, like, I'm just Jake. Like, it's easier said than done. I'm just saying, it's like this projection with Reese because he's this strong and he's this fast. He's got shorter arms than Bailey too, which nobody brings up. And that's a variable. He's gonna really have to develop into He's gonna have to develop his pass rush moves. I have not seen any evidence to suggest that this guy's gonna be an edge that's worth taking it to when Bailey's there. I could be wrong. What that? I mean, there's a reason 90% of the community I feel like wants Reese. I could be wrong. I'm not blind, but I just don't see it.
You might be blind because your camera just went out.
I don't know what my camera's
not working over there. Yeah, no, like I'd be happy with Reese, but there's definitely some more concern. But going back to what you were talking about before, wide receiver and needing to trade, as like one thing. I don't think the top 3 are making it to 16 anymore. So I agree with you. If the Jets want one, they got to trade up to either 7 or 10 or 12.
Yeah, I agree, Stefan. Because again, the Giants I think are going to take a receiver. It sounds like with one of their 2 firsts.
Jake, give me 1 second. I'm going to log out and log back in.
All right, the old Frankie V reset. In the meantime, I want to tell everyone to like the video if they haven't and to subscribe to the channel. Plus, let me say this. We are presented by PrizePicks. Hold on. PrizePicks is our sponsor, and I put together a prize pick lineup for this morning here. I'll put together something Knicks related later on in the show, but hold on a second. Let me do the old switcheroo here so you guys can see the prize pick lineup that I have. The game is going to start in just a bit. It is Patriots Day up in Boston, so the Red Sox are playing their annual early morning game. So here's a prize pick lineup to celebrate Patriots Day in Boston. Dun, dun, dun. It's a 2-pick power play. Sonny Gray to have more than 5 Ks. Jack Flaherty to have more than 4.5 Ks. These 2 teams, I think, match up well for a lineup conducive to some Ks. So that's a prize pick lineup for me today. $10 to win $22. Shout out to Ariel Epstein, friend of the show, who has a bunch of good analytics on her X account, putting this prize pick lineup together. So I'm tailing her. So if it doesn't win, we blame Epstein. If it does win, then you're welcome. We all made some money. Shout out to PrizePicks for being our sponsor. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Again, code HMA, $5, and you'll get $50 instantly in lineups. Let's bring back Frankie V, whose camera hopefully will be working shortly. In the meantime, though, let's get to more of your calls, shall we? Asman is standing by. What's up, Asman?
Hey, brother Jake. Long time no see. How you doing, bro?
What's up, Asman? Happy draft week.
Happy draft week. That's what I'm sure.
Uh-oh. Asman, thank you for the time. Frankie V back with us from one bad internet connection to potentially another.
Jake, I think my camera here might be cooked, man. I think this thing overheated a few weeks ago. I think it's done. I think the Sony EZ10, whatever, I think it was a hell of a run. Hell of a run.
Well, I'll tell you what. The next camera you get, you'll look even more handsome.
Oh, yeah.
More calls. Speaking of handsome, I know what we need right now. Frankie, get ready. This will get you pumped.
You guys laugh. It's not funny.
This is regurgitating.
Those are 2 fairly young men.
You want to see what a real man looks like?
They don't care. They think it's funny that they're sickly and ill.
This ain't no bullshit.
Beast and Gorman look great.
Yeah, they're both physical specimens.
Destructive, but constructive.
That's extraordinary, yeah.
272 pounds, muscle and might.
I'm all thrown off here. I'm all flustered here. Can I get to my jet point?
Yeah, you could try.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't fuck off, I don't know what else will. Have a good day.
Beast?
We're in a Polish place today. Good old-fashioned shop and save. A great Polish place where you want to talk about where quality equals quality. It's even better. Hell, I already just gotten started. Traditional rye bread, Polish kielbasa, and smoked butt right there. Good old-fashioned smoked butt. That's good stuff. See, that's something the real world hasn't tried because everyone nowadays, they think, oh, that's all nasty. Yeah, you don't know nothing if lightning came down and kicked you in the ass around it too, you'd actually learn something. Now, let's see, where is that next drink of mine? They don't got my oranzada. Well, I'll find it. I'll find my oranzada one way or the other. They got everything. They got all sorts of waters here. They got Nacharenka. They got this weird water, more weird water, more weird water. Everything is different here, Jake. Let me just say this. When you get stuff from Poland, You know where the action's at, and you know damn well where the action's at because it's right here, baby. Woo! Look at this. Let me show this, everybody. What's that tell you right there? That's a real price. See,
what does Poland have to do with you going to the grocery store?
Hey, Poland has a good quality. Why do you think all the Polacks came to this country? They brought great food with them, great music with them. How do you think they get around? Example, hard work and determination. That's what brings it to the dance. If you don't have it and you can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen. And one more thing I'm looking for is going to be some ginger ale because that's good action. And you guys don't know what the good action is. And then lightning came down from the heavens and hit you square right in the ass, and you'll be going, ah! You don't know nothing about that. And Frankie, you don't know nothing about that, son, because let me say, if I took you around Polish town, you'd actually be afraid of it because you ain't been to the big time like I have. I've been to the big time, so don't worry about it. Just don't worry about your P's and Q's. Nah.
We covered a lot of ground today, Frankie. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it as always, my man. What happened to Joe? Did he end up winning? That's my guy.
Big Joe was eliminated by Charles Gorman.
Wow. Oh, that's a tough matchup right there. All right.
But Big Joe, man, he had a great run.
Yeah. Yeah, when you play the drops with Big Joe, my cousin sends them to me sometimes. I crack up every time.
We love Big Joe. Big Joe. Hold on. Where'd Frankie go? There. Frankie? Hold on. There we go.
Big Joe. Yeah. Those are all right, man. Yeah. Last thing one last thing I want to bring up. The Jets right now, hearing that they definitely are looking to trade up for a wide receiver. So if you want a little tidbit, not that I'm as connected as Samini and some people, but they're definitely monitoring that wide receiver market and absolutely are looking to upgrade that room. So
my God.
Good.
Yeah, for all the receiver people out there, I don't think Muji's just going to stay put, stick and pick at 2, 16, 33, and 44. They have a bunch of receivers they like, and they're going to want to go up and get one. So let's see what happens, Jake. But yeah, if I speak to you before, if not, I'll talk. I'm actually going on Nick Shine's show. I'm going to go on Sunday. We're going to do a little draft recap. So that'll be fun.
Love it.
And yeah, if anyone's in New York and wants to come to the draft party that we're hosting, Jake's BFF Fireman, that'll be there. It's for Nick Mangold and the Kidney Foundation, which we're going to try to raise as much money as we can. Harrison, New York, Westchester County. It's not that far from the city, and everyone thinks it's like by Poughkeepsie. No, it's before the Tappan Zee, not after. It's after Yonkers in the Bronx. But yeah, if anyone's interested, just contact U Stadium on Twitter. Or just go to ustadium.com and you can come and have fun. You could golf or come to the party or do both. So yeah.
Love it. Frankie, let's go Jets. Appreciate you.
Let's go, man. Later. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Frankie V in his weekly spot on the show. Let's get to your calls now, shall we? Appreciate everyone who is here. Hit the like button if you haven't. And another reminder for those tuning in late, we have a great giveaway today. We have ourselves a Curtis Martin signed helmet and a Chad Pennington signed helmet. Each side of the helmet on the screen there is signed by the Jet legend. So you get a little 2 for the price of 1 on our show today. You got to enter the raffle for your chance to win that. More of your calls. Here we go. Pork in the morning with us. Hello, Pork.
Hi, Jake. How you doing?
What's up, Pork?
Oh, I'm doing all right. I think we should trade out of that second pick if we can't make the decision. You know what I mean? If they can't figure it out, trade
Who's
it
coming
away.
up, though? That's the thing. Like, I'm all for it, but I don't know who's coming up.
Yeah, I get it. I really like Downs. I'm a big safety guy. So, I'm not too thrilled about the talent in this draft overall. It doesn't really seem like it's a great draft. Otherwise, Mendoza, you know what I mean? But I do like Bailey and I like Reese a lot too. But who do you get? Do you get potential over production? You know what I mean? Like, we can see what Bailey can do, but is he just a one-trick guy?
Right. Can he play 3 downs? Yep.
That's what I'm worried about. Or could he be like a Charles Haley type guy, which I doubt, but I mean, I wish. but it looks like everybody's saying that we're going to take him. And me personally, I'm split on the two. So I would trade it, but like you said, who are we going to get instead? That's the biggest, the biggest conundrum for me. And then at number 16, I would say we have to go receiver. That's my biggest need for me anyway. But things are going well in Pork's life. I'm on my way to a new job, hopefully. And if I get this new job, it will be an asset to the Asmaniac community. The job includes travel. I'll be with a hospitality company. And with that comes, big room discounts at hotels. So it will be for everybody too. So, Jake hit me up. Anybody hit me up if I do get this job. So everybody keep their fingers crossed for Pork. This is like, if I get this, it'll be life-changing.
Let's go, Pork. I'm rooting for you.
Yep. Well, look, and I picked up this shirt the other day. I know it's guys that aren't on the team, with Rogers, but hey, it was $1.99, and I got this hat for like $11.99. Like, it
quality
was a big
deals.
Win. Hey, it's a big win in my book, and I'm down to 185. So, I almost got the six-pack, Jake. I will show it once it's there. I am an old man, but I'm going to be proud when it's there. And it's all because this Asmaniac community has always had my back. I'm voting for Leany, because he's a hottie. So with that, I'm out. Everybody have a great week. Jet live to the next live.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pork of the morning, one of the greats.
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
Good luck, Pork. Good luck. Let's get to more of your calls. Appreciate everyone. Real quick. So the Jets today are starting their off-season program. Everything is voluntary, but they posted a clip of Geno Smith entering the building saying, first one in the building earlier this morning. QB1, baby.
Good morning.
Let's get it.
You heard it here first. Geno Smith in the building. Quote, let's get it. All right. Super Bowl is back on. More of your calls. We'll go back to Asman and see if his connection holds this time. Asman, are you there?
Yes. Finally, man.
What's up, man?
My wife called right at the time when you took the call, and the internet's playing very, very not nice. How we doing, brother? Draft week, Jets Nation, let's go. I don't show faces too much. I want to say, first of all, after WrestleMania, we got Leany. Congratulations to Leany making it to the Elite Eight. Again, Jake, success March. Jake Asman Madness, as you would call it. He's been great. I got my money on Leany. That's all I want to say. She's great. It's also funny and to have all these different outcomes. It feels like we're playing like Doctor Strange with the draft, about how many ways we can go, and that's just talks about how good Mooney has been. With all the trades, all the assets we have for 4 picks in the top 44. What can you say? It's great.
Look, I gotta get it right. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Also, I'm really excited about Geno. I remember when we signed it, I came here and I super shouted that he can run an offense. I'm really happy for him. In the NFL, how many times you get like a chance to in redemption? As we all know, NFL not for long. He's stuck long enough to come back here and try to make something happen. Also, I want to say in all these talks about the draft, something that I have been able to tell in the Jets community is how the whole Ty Simpson talks have died down. Like, ain't nobody talking about drafting a QB now, all the way until like the second round when he was probably like at the beginning of this whole draft process. He was one of the, he was there. We were picking him at 16. I like him. I don't love him. I would rather just to get like a project. Drew Aller. I'm really rooting for Nussmeier. I super shouted that the other day with a Dream 3. By the way, congratulations on that again. You're the man. Rich Simini, you and I'm blanking on his name. WFAN guy.
Brandon Tierney.
Tiki. There you go.
Wrong
I
guy.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm sorry. I'm bad with names, but another success for you, my guy. Like I'm just watching and following. I also, I've been with the kids, new house. Again, I'm working on my garage here, prepping for the summer, which is not coming at all. It's like 35 degrees again today. But I keep following your career, man, and you're successful. All I want to say is my dream, like I said, my dream draft scenario is that we play no games, we take Reese. For me, in the way that I see it from all the talks that I've heard, there's maybe 4 unicorns type players, but 3 of them are the ones that are like the most successful because Jordan Tyson, he might be a unicorn type of player at wide receiver, but his injuries has fallen, he has fallen out. But for me, is Reese, is steals and downs. And yeah, Bailey, Bain. Let's play no games at 2. Um we take Reese at 2. We try to, like, in my perfect scenario, we can trade 44 like you said before, and we can come up, I don't know, 11, 12. He might be now gone. Downs might be gone at 10. Harbaugh might be trying to do the Ed Reed and what is that linebacker guy from the
I,
Ravens?
I don't think they're going to trade up for a safety. I would be very
You,
surprised.
you don't think we can trade for Downs? If you can come out with Reese and Downs in the top 10 or 11,
Yeah, but
you
then
wouldn't
who's
do
playing
that?
receiver for the team?
That's the whole thing. At 30 tier, we have flexibility. There's gonna be guys there like Omar Cooper. My guy is Denzel Boston.
Well, I
Honestly,
don't think Cooper makes it to 33. Boston could. I still
Mhm.
probably would bet against that. But
My question.
I think there's a drop off from those guys. I do. I feel like if the Jets really want to solidify receiver, if they're
Mhm.
trading up for anyone, it shouldn't be a safety. It should be for a receiver.
Yeah, but my question is, in the top 10, who's gonna let you come up for Tate, who might be wide
Washington at
receiver
7.
1? Who? Washington?
Yes.
And do you think they want to draft Tate and try to get from McLaurin, who was hurt and is making like a whole lot of money
I think
in the next coming
I think they
years?
need picks. If you look at the Commanders draft capital, they don't have a second or a fourth. I think they want picks.
Okay, but I mean, like I said, we can play Doctor Strange here and see all type of futures because we are that flexible, and that talks great. Coming up to 7 for Tate, I wouldn't hate it. But if, like I said, if we can come out with Reese Downs, I mean, that defense is gonna be set for years to come. And then we can get a Denzel Boston at 33rd. I don't know um how you feel about trading future assets like a future third round pick or even a second round pick if you like a guy that much to trade back in the first round. I mean, with those top 3, with those 3 guys, I mean, we could be pretty set. But that's only my dream scenario. That's nobody else. That's my opinion as an observer. But other than that, Makai Lemon could be there. Even Jordan Tyson. I don't know how they're going to feel in Detroit. Glenn was part of that Detroit move when they trade up for Jameson Williamson, right? And he was coming out of an injury when he was coming out. It could be any. It could be anywhere. We're flexible.
Anything can happen, Asman. You're not wrong. Appreciate you calling in, man. Hope you're doing well. More of your calls before we wrap this baby up. Let's say hello to Jason in Jerusalem. Hey, Jason.
Hey, Jake. How you doing?
What's up, man?
Hey, one of the issues I have, and I get it, you try to compare the guys who are in the draft now to previous people in previous drafts. So you look at a guy like Boston and you say, well, that he reminds me of Keon Coleman. Well, by the same metric, you could do that with anybody. I mean, for me, you could say Arvell Reese reminds me of Vernon Golston. I mean, everybody can remind you of somebody who's just a bust, but at the end of the day, they're all individual players.
Or you could spin it as, oh, this person reminds me of so-and-so, and it was a pot. Like, you could find whatever comp you want to fit the narrative you're trying to argue,
Right. And not only that, but I think it was Paul Zimmerman who used to say, by the way, first I'm going to stop to say something you're probably not going to hear ever on the show. Praying for Pork. Good luck to you, Pork.
Amen.
Zimmerman from SI said that as a scout, you always had to throw in something negative in your scouting report because if the guy bombed out, so you didn't look like a total loser in your scouting report. so that everybody in their scouting report always needs to write something negative.
Well, there's no perfect prospect. That's the bottom line.
So, but just yeah, the idea though, Reese to me does remind me of Golston. I hope he doesn't. I hope he's a different player. But Golston was this workout warrior, and Reese is just this physical specimen that nobody knew what to do with. And many of the things he hasn't shown on the field, and you're trying to change his position. And Golston himself was somebody who was served as a 4-3 end that you tried to switch to a 3-4, and it just didn't work for him. And how they
I don't know. I feel like the Golston stuff and Reese, I feel like it's just, they both played at Ohio State. Like, I don't really think there's much more to it than that.
Your comment about the Giants, first of all, would you rather have 2-16 like the Jets or 5-10 in the Giants in this year's draft?
I actually highlighted this question because Gator asked me the same thing. I'd rather have 5-10.
I agreed.
5-10, I could get. I probably could get David Bailey at 5, ironically, if that's what I want. Or I could take Sonny Styles there, or take my pick of any receiver I want, or take Styles at 5 and then take Tyson or Tate, who's ever left, at 10. Mekhi Lemon, I could take at 10. I could trade down from 10 probably a lot easier than I could from 16 and still get more picks. Like, I just feel like 5 and 10 gives you a lot more flexibility.
I agree with you on that, but it was interesting because I was watching the show that Connor had with Zach. Connor from SNY, was it Connor Hughes and Zach Rosenblatt? And they had a mock draft where they had a representative from each team's media make the pick for their team based upon how they reported the team. And there was a huge run on wideouts in the beginning. And I have it up here. They had the Cleveland Reporter had them taking Tate at 6. The Saints Reporter had them taking Lemon at 8. And the Chiefs Reporter had them taking Jordan Tyson at 9. So for that reason, if I'm the Giants now, and especially if you have 2 picks and you want a receiver, get it at 5. Because you could literally, there's a legitimate circumstance where you don't have a receiver to pick at 10 among the top 3.
Correct.
And it seems like the teams who want the tackles, they're the ones who are falling.
So again, if the Jets want one of the quote unquote top receivers, I think they're going to have to move up.
But I just don't see. I think this team has too many holes for to need to do that. I see, why should you lose a pick and potentially a safety? This team also needs safety help. This team also needs cornerback help. There's so many holes on this team that unless you know that you're going up to take Jamar Chase, it's not worth it.
If you hit on the pick, it could be.
And yet, we traded up for AVT and we lost out on Zarazon that way and picks. So
but I feel like AVT could have worked if he stayed healthy. Like, he didn't. That's the unfortunate nature of it. Like, when AVT played, he was really good.
He was.
He had no history of injuries until he became a Jet, and then bad luck.
Yeah, amazing. It wasn't even the turf. It was Denver.
No. Yeah. And one Jets drive on a Tuesday practice before week 1.
Yep. All right, Jake. I got to go to work. You be well. And once again, go Pork.
Jason, appreciate it, man. Stay safe. Fernando writes in, Shefty says Browns open to move 6. Let's do it. I mean, every team will say they're open to it. If you can't get a deal done with the Commanders, can you get a deal done with Cleveland? I don't know if the trade would look all that different, the difference between 6 and 7. Oregon Jets says Ohio State tried Reese at defensive end. It failed. He was moved back to linebacker. Objectively, Oregon, and I'm a fan of yours, that's just not true. Over the last 2 games, Arvell Reese was double-teamed 11 times when rushing the quarterback. He had 97 pass rush snaps. He was double-teamed on 41 of them, including 11 times the final 2 games. That's not true. He didn't fail at it. He played the Joker in a pro-style defense coached by Matt Patricia, who's been an NFL head coach and defensive coordinator under Belichick. So what are we talking about? We're just making up narratives now. That's just not true. More of your calls. Let's say hello to Jack, who's next. Hey, Jack.
What's up, Jake? How you doing?
What's up, man?
I got to update my media rankings, man. R.I.P. Diana Rossini. Sorry to see you go.
Where was she in the power rankings for you?
She was number 5.
Mm.
Yeah. I'll be in Pittsburgh next week, or this week, sorry, for the
Thursday?
draft. So if you guys are floating around, I'll come say hi.
You gotta come to the party, Jack. Come to McFadden's.
Is that where it's at?
Yeah, man. That's the place for Jet fans. Come on.
All right. Oh, I got a couple events that I'm supposed to go to, but I'll have to swing by McFadden's. Yeah, man. I'm hoping the Jets find a way to get out of number 2. There's like flags on all of these guys that just are very concerning. I think with Arvell Reese, like you obviously see the profile and the athleticism and all of that. It's just like, does Aaron Glenn have any idea of how to actually utilize someone like that? I have very little confidence that they will be able to figure it out. Like I think the Cowboys is a potential trade partner. I know that's been floated. Like if you can get 12 and 20 to move down, like I'd love to see that happen. I know people have been floating like a trade up from 16. I don't think this team is in a position to be trading up. I think you got to acquire as many top 50, top 75 picks as you can and try to fill out the rest of this roster. There's just too many holes to be going all in on 1 or 2 players. And the last point here is like they got to find a wide receiver. And I have a strong suspicion that there might be 5 or 6 receivers gone in the top 30. And if you're waiting for 33 or 44, you're going to be picking from like the Chris Bells of the world who might not even be available until halfway through the season. They need to walk out of this draft with probably 2 receivers that can play.
That's why I want to move up though, for that reason. Like I think if they wait till 16, you're probably looking at maybe Cooper or Boston. And I think there's a drop off between those guys and Lemon, Tate, and Tyson.
I think it's got to be one of those top 3. And the injury concerns with Tyson, I'm not nearly as concerned about that. I mean, obviously, like I think you have to hedge yourself. If you're going to pick Tyson, I think you have to be picking another receiver on day 2. But like Tyson, the drop off after those 3, maybe Boston is a nice consolation prize, but that's it, man. Like they got to walk away with one of those 4 receivers.
Feels like it. And they should probably draft 2.
100%. 100%. You can't. I mean, Muji was negligent in how he handled the receiver room last year. He obviously, added some talent midway through the season, but you can't do what you did last year. And they haven't done anything in free agency around that. Like they've got to have 4 receivers that can play. So that requires 2 new receivers to come through the draft.
Correct. And there's a lot of depth, it feels like, on day 2 for receivers, but they need a high end player early. Like they've set themselves up where everyone knows they need a receiver, and that's going to make it more challenging on Thursday.
By the way, you keep floating the I was going to say Redskins, the Commanders as a trade candidate. Like, what are you getting? Are you suggesting the Commanders would move up from 7 to 2, and what does the package look like?
No, I'm suggesting the Jets would move up from 16 to 7.
Okay, and you're giving up what?
16, 44, and one of the 4th rounders.
Yeah. And you're walking away in that scenario with Tate?
I would trade. I don't think I would move up for Lemon, and I don't think I'd move up for Tyson. Let me rephrase. I don't think I would move up from 16 all the way to 7 if, the Jets have something worked out to go from 16 to 12 with Dallas to get in front of the Rams, who they get intel on. They're going to take the last of the big 3 receivers that's there. That's a different conversation, I think. But I would not move up and give up a ton for Tyson. He's got some injury concerns. And Lemon I like, but I don't know if you're moving that much up for a 5'11" receiver.
Yeah. If the Rams offered you 13 in next year's 1 for number 2, do you take that deal?
13 in next year's 1?
Yeah.
I don't think I would do that.
What about 13 and next year's 1 for Garrett Wilson?
I definitely would not do that.
Yeah, fair. I know you. I heard you this morning raging out on the Yahoo reports.
It's just dumb. Like it's like even in the article, it's like that we have no indication the Jets are open to moving. It's like there is no indication. They've said publicly they're not trading him. They're trying to get a receiver to pair with him.
Yeah, there's no indication of it, but like no one wants to trade Garrett Wilson because I think everyone looks at him as a top 15 type talent. But a question I have is like, he's been a relatively good soldier for the past few years. Like, he has his outbursts and, he's like sideline routines and, kind of clash with Aaron Glenn. But like, how much longer is this guy going to stay patient? Like, it doesn't look like they're getting a quarterback this year, which means they're going to bring someone in next year. now, like, you're going to pair a rookie quarterback with Garrett Wilson next year, and he's going to have to go through the pain of it. Like, does this guy want to ride this out for 3 or 4 more years? And at some point, is he just going to say, like, guys, get me out of here? Like, is the decision going to be made for them? And if so, like, does it make sense to proactively move him? I don't know. I mean,
well, don't you have to just feed him with a ton of targets this year? That's why you got Geno Smith to keep him happy. Like, let Geno Smith, who's a professional, get Garrett the ball a ton so he gets his numbers, and he's a good soldier for another year where they're probably winning 6 games or less.
Is that, but like at some point, like, does Garrett just say, like, I want to actually win some games, or like is feeding him 100 targets a year going to be enough?
I mean, he signed the contract. No one held a gun to his head and said, sign this.
Yeah, but you know how this goes. Like, if you're getting guaranteed money, you have to sign that deal.
Right, but but the Jets have his rights now for several more years. They don't need to trade him.
They do, but like, as we saw, like, Dexter Lawrence just got moved. Like, the Giants didn't want to move him. Like, if a player wants out, like, they can get out as long as they're not quarterback.
I guess if they want to really make a stink of it, but like Dexter Lawrence, I don't know. I think it's different with that position versus like a receiver. We're talking about only 2 years left on Lawrence's deal, whereas Garrett Wilson, his contract hasn't even started yet. Think about that.
Yeah.
Like, he's going into now his 5th year. He's still playing on the 5th year option. His extension doesn't kick in until 2027.
So if final question for you, and I'll let you get to other callers. If Garrett Wilson comes up to, this offseason, or maybe he did pull to Quinn Williams and said, I want out, it's doing it quietly, doing it the right way. What is the package that Jake Asman needs to see in order to pull the trigger? Knowing that Garrett Wilson does not want to be here. He might be a headache in training camp, have a migraine issue, all that stuff. Like, do everything that a receiver does to get out of town. What does Jake Asman need to see to pull the trigger?
Well, I mean, it's worth noting that Garrett Wilson today showed up for voluntary workouts. So I think this is a conversation.
Quinnen did the same thing.
Well, but I think Garrett, like, he was literally a team captain. Like, I don't think this is the
same thing.
I think you're looking for a story here that doesn't.
No. I'm just trying to understand, like, if Garrett does want out, which I'm not saying he does.
When would he say that though? He would have to say that right now, because you're not going to move him after this draft.
Theoretically,
you wouldn't. You're not going to trade. Like, if the time to trade him would be right before this draft, right now.
Yeah, I hear you.
So, but like, what I would need for Garrett Wilson in any trade, I would need at least 2 first-round picks and then some.
All right,
at least.
Now we know now you said the sauce trade, basically.
Yeah, but I think that's where it starts. I think you could potentially get more for Garrett. Look at the going rate for receivers in this league.
Yeah,
Alec Pierce is making $29 million a year.
I agree. All right, Jake. I'll try to see you this week. Go Jets, and I'll talk to you later.
You go Jets after Jack tries to get Garrett Wilson traded. Interesting. The new Allen I'm seeing in the chat. Wow. They're out on Jack Straw. A great contrarian, says Iowa Jets. Lord Jaffe, this guy's the new Allen. Again, Garrett Wilson has said all the right things, and he signed on the dotted line. He's under contract for several more years. I don't think this is a problem yet. Now, if the Jets are terrible, right, then there'll be some rumblings in the offseason, but then things get stabilized if you hire the right coach and there's a real plan to get him a quarterback. So keep that in mind. HXC Dude says, let's get wacky. Tate at 2, Sadiq at 16, Zion at 33, Rodriguez at 44, and get Aller or Peyton later. The Jets did a workout with Cole Payton, the North Dakota State quarterback. I would not take Carnell Tate at 2, and I really like Carnell Tate. I just think you don't take that type of receiver at 2. I think you take the big swing with Reese, who could be a superstar. More of your calls before we wrap. Let's say hi to Jets Jedi, a.k.a. Canadian Rocky. Hello, Rocky.
How's it going, Jake? Having a good morning?
Oh, yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah, we're almost there, man. We'll get there, baby. Yeah, no, I just wanted to get your opinion. What do you think of Malachi Fields for like a late pick as a wide receiver, mid-round?
Someone else asked me about him recently, too. I don't know. To be honest, I really haven't watched much of him. I just know he went to Notre Dame, and he's big. He's 6'4", 220.
Yeah, former quarterback, too, so he's got good intelligence. I watched tape on him. I like him a lot. I mean, strong-handed guy. Killed the Senior Bowl. The guy was just better than everybody at the Senior Bowl. I like him a lot. I think, I think if you don't go that way at 16, he's a guy that will be there at 40.
Canadian Rocky, did we lose you?
I like Malachi Fields a lot.
We were losing you there, Jets Jedi. Yeah, look, to me, if they double up on wide receiver, he's projected to go in the 3rd or 4th round. The Jets have 2 forwards. They don't have a 3rd. I mean, he would make a lot of sense as that X kind of vertical threat. He's really good at high pointing the football. He's 6'4", 220. I'd take a swing on that on day 3. I would have no problem with that. I think we've talked about Ted Hurst on the show. If we're talking about Senior Bowl wide receivers, Ted Hurst from Georgia State is a name for day 3. The Jets did a top 30 visit with Cyrus Allen from Cincinnati. So he's a guy that could potentially be drafted on day 3 as well. I'll show you guys a list here. Dom C, I saw just tweeted this. Let me put it up on the screen. The full list of visits that the Jets conducted with prospects during this cycle. These are only the top 30 visits. So these guys actually came to the Jets facility. You'll notice a lot of receivers on this list. Mekhi Lemon, Denzel Boston, Trevor Pena, Cyrus Allen, and Chris Bell. So they've done some homework on some of the day 2, day 3 wide receivers. Good job by Dom putting together this list. I like Chris Bell. They're going to take a chance on someone because a lot of people felt like Chris Bell was going to go in the 1st round and then he tore his ACL at the end of the regular season for Louisville. So, look, he may not be ready to contribute right away, but again, I don't think anyone's looking at the Jets as a team that needs to, win a bunch of games this year and they're all in and they have this win. Like, you're not looking at it that way. So if you can get Chris Bell in the 3rd round, maybe you use your 2 4th round picks and you trade back in to the 3rd round to take him. I guess he could go at 44, but that feels a little early. I mean, I would take a chance on him. There's talent there, real talent. Black Gypsy says pass on Bell. We need a receiver that could play this year. Well, I'm not saying he should be the first wide receiver they draft, Black Gypsy. I'm just saying if you already took someone, say, at 16, and then you want to double up, like we're talking about guys on day 2 or day 3. That makes sense. Now, what's interesting about these top 30 visits here, like the Jets went down to Tuscaloosa to work out Ty Simpson privately. That doesn't count for a top 30 visit. Like you see the list here. Ty's not on that list, but they worked him out. So keep that in mind. All right, I got time for one more call before we wrap up our first show today. Ladies and gentlemen, on the Gus Buster Umbrella Hotline is the defending Asmaniac Madness champion.
The only thing better than Alden shoes is Joey D, cause he totally rules. Jake, my brother, I'm high as a kite. I love everybody. Damn, this show is crazy.
Jake, my brother.
Bonesy.
What's up, man? I can't wait, man. We're so close. It's Thursday, man. I've been waiting so long for this. All this draft talk, man. It's gotten me crazy. And I really am really excited. I wanted to tell Frankie one thing. My real thing, I don't know why. I have no real information that makes me think this, but I do think the Jets are going to trade up into day 2 for one of the quarterbacks. And I know Frankie just said Drew Allard doesn't have it upstairs, and maybe Carson Beck's going to be the guy everybody wants, but I think Frank Reich is going to want one of these guys. And I'm still going to sit here and go to bat for Frank because I brought it up against Gypsy the other day. Like, we forget what he did with Nick Foles, man. and like what he can do with like the running game and how you can implement that into the offense. And I know he's washed up, and I know people like my guy Yo Holmes is calling me crazy for wanting to believe in Frank, but someone with his resume, I do believe he's going to change a lot for us. And I said it, and I'll keep saying it. Frank Reich is going to save Aaron Glenn's job, or he's going to take it. One of the two.
I've never seen someone be a truther for Frank Reich. It's impressive.
I had to find something to click on to, and I couldn't click on to Glenn. And Frankie's my guy. He's a good, family. He's a good human being. He's doing a favor for Glenn. He was retired. He came out of retirement just for his man.
He's getting paid a couple $1 million. It's a nice gig.
I agree, and also he's a bad head coach. Sure, you want to say that, but he's a good offensive coordinator. I don't care what you say. He's got the notches in the belt to prove it. And let me throw one situation out. What if the Giants, right, were willing to give us 10, but not 5, but a really nice haul for 2 because they wanted Love? Would you be interested?
Yes, but what does that mean?
Like they wanted to move up from 10 to 2, give us 10.
But what are they giving us is my question. So they have 5, they have 10, they have pick 37 of the second round. They don't have a third.
No. They're not giving us 5. They're just giving us 10. So we would have 10 and 16, and we would completely not, have all the, 9, we would be at 10 and 16, and we would get a boatload back. I'm not sure of the, I don't have the exact what I think they'd give us, but they'd give us a lot to move up from 10 to 2.
I don't think they would do that. I don't think they have the ammunition.
Yeah, I guess I just feel like if they really want Love bad enough and we wanted to get a haul, would there be any interest? Because I personally, I don't think the Jets are going to have to trade into the top 10 to get one of the 3 wide receivers. I think one of them is going to fall. I think one of them is going to, and if it's not them, I almost at 16, like I kind of feel like I want to see who falls to us. Downs or someone who we're not expecting is going to be there. And maybe that could be the pick that we're not thinking about that we trade out of and move back a little for, maybe 16, we're not thinking about it, but 16 could be the one that we're trying to think trade up. And Muji's thinking, someone fell to us that somebody wants and we could trade back. Obviously, if maybe all 3 wide receivers were gone, and someone snuck there that, somebody wanted to move up for Simpson or for Sadiq, and we weren't thinking we wanted tight end, like whatever the situation is. Like, I wonder if that could be something, a possibility as well,
The one thing I will say among the points you made is I do agree they're drafting a quarterback at some point. Like, they're not just going to skip quarterback altogether. They will take a chance on someone. Could be with one of their forwards, could be with one of their 7th round picks or their 6th. They're going to draft some quarterback at some point. I don't think they'll skip out on the position altogether again.
I agree. And where I'm harping on is I'm not thinking 44. I'm not thinking 44, but I'm thinking if we do some type of trades to get a 3rd round pick, I do think we're going to try to, especially if we have our guy that we want. Like, we prefer Al over Beck or Nuss over, you know what I mean? If we prefer one of those guys and we want them, I could see them, because the pressure of having a day 2 or a day 3 quarterback, especially with Geno coming in, is much easier on Muji's job and Glenn's job for them in their minds. And it's less pressure on the guy to have to take Geno's job. It's more of like, we're going to give this guy a time to sit.
Also, you're getting a lot of heat for this. Did I miss this? Did you say you rather have 10 than 2?
No. What he's saying is like he'd prefer 2 over 10. I wasn't saying I would. If you were going to get a boatload of picks to move back from 2 to 10,
right? But I don't think the Giants are going to do that. Look, if the question is, would I rather have 5 and 10 or 2 and 16? I rather 5 and 10, but I don't think you're going to be able to get the Giants to agree to that.
What if the Giants are going to give you a 1st round pick next year?
And then what's the deal then?
So they're going to give you 10 this year, a first-round pick next year, and a third-round pick this year to go from 10 to 2. Would you
I'm
do
in.
it?
Yeah.
Right? That's all I was saying. Like,
They're
I'm not
going to do
saying
that.
that's what I'm saying. They wouldn't do that. But what if they were like, oh, I'll give you a first-round pick next year and number 10 just to go up to 2. Would you do that?
A first-round pick next year and number 10 to go up to 2. Yes, I would definitely do it. And I have
What
4
if they
first-round
really
picks.
want Love? What if they really want Love? Like,
I don't think they would do that for a running back. That's ridiculous.
I agree. I'm just, come on, man. 3 days left. What do you want me to call him about Bailey or Reese?
I can't wait for Thursday. We have reached. This is the longest draft cycle ever. We're now doing 10 for and a first next year for 2. You think the Jets and Giants would make that type of deal? Come on.
my head is so fried, and I'm so sick of talking Jets. When I just saw Leany with the pigtails, I mean, I was stirring, bro. It was woo, Leany, man. God damn, girl. Woo.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bonesy.
Asmaniac Madness is underway. Make sure you vote to make your voice heard.
This draft needs to get here. Nick Sean writes in, Bonesy went from falling on JD's D to Frank's Frank. He moves quicker than Rossini. Hey now. Yikes. All right, I thought that was going to be the closer. The link is not even pinned anymore. But somehow, some way, this guy has figured out a way to call in. So today's closer is...
If Mad Max ain't yapping about Jets, that boy, he's jamming. He's slamming, freaking dancing, wall smashing. I'm Jake Asman. If Mad Max ain't ever stopped yapping, that boy, he still be dancing. Then call Jake Asman. He got an orange wall.
What's up, Asmaniacs? How you guys doing today? So 3 days until the NFL draft. So for the last 3 years, let's talk about players, a prospect I want and a prospect I do not want to get. So honestly, Jake, a prospect I really want to get, there are multiple prospects I want to get. So number 2, I would prefer Arvell Reese over David Bailey, but I wouldn't care if the Jets take Bailey. I think Reese is a dominant player, and people are going to complain about his workout. A workout does not translate to the game. Reese has fight. He could be played in multiple positions. Jake. And then Carl Tate could also be a good option. That's another player I want the Jets to get. I mean, we could get him, another good option. And then here are a couple players I do not want to get, Jake. So 1, I don't want to take Ty Simpson, I don't want to take him at 2. I don't want to take him at 16. Okay, maybe at 33, but look, there are better quarterback prospects you can draft in later rounds. If you draft Ty Simpson, he has 15 career starts. What happens if he sucks, Jake? You draft the quarterback next year? Does the coach even want Ty Simpson? I mean, Neil, why do you want Ty Simpson so bad? You can draft Diego Pavia in the later rounds. He's a better quarterback, honestly. Just because Diego Pavia is 5'9", 3'4", doesn't mean he's not a bad quarterback. Look, he has a strong arm. He's a very accurate quarterback. And if he could turn around Vanderbilt football, he could turn around the Jets. And honestly, if Diego Pavia doesn't work out, good, you're not gambling because he's a late round quarterback anyways. I would draft Pavia in the 5th or 6th round. Give him a chance, come on, just because he's 5'9". There's examples of good quarterbacks, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, Kyler. They're shorter than 6 foot, and they're successful in the league. Jake, so I would take a chance on Pavia. And honestly, let's get a rumble with the draft. And any Asmaniacs want to rumble with me? Beastbreaker, want to rumble? Jack Straw, Jake Asman, Beast. Let's do a rumble.
You need to go get a like, brother. Go get a like. I don't want nothing to do with a chicken pissy ass loser like you. Go take your 33-pound yellow ass and go back to the home boy. You're not worth my time. Take a licking, get the stepping, and take a hike. Take a hike, bro.
Please get a life, honestly. Get a life.
Get the message. Look, SA. You're in my neck of the woods. These are my hoods. This is my league. You are just some little troll that has nothing. You're weak, simple-minded, retarded, out of date, out of touch. You're as bad as pigeon shit.
Look at my muscles, Beast. I have bigger muscles than you.
Take a walk, player. Take a walk.
No, thank you.
Now remember, bye, bitch.
Bye, Beast.
Look, I love it when you call me Big Papa. I love it when you call me Big Papa. Hell, hey, and I see some ladies tonight that should be having my baby, baby, yeah. Some of you don't know nothing about. You don't know nothing about this boy P.I.G. What do you know about DMX? What do you know about
Asmaniac Madness. Let's be honest, Reese.
You don't know nothing.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Good job.
What a show. Thank you to Mad Max. Thank you to Beast. One last call. We go to Jack Straw live from the Cuck Chair. Hey, Jack. Thank you, Jack.
No, thank you.
Jets. Let's go.
All right. That's a show. Thank you to everyone. We're back this afternoon. Raffle for the signed Pennington / Curtis Martin helmet. Make sure you RSVP if you're joining us in Pittsburgh. Thank you again to everyone for helping this channel reach 45,000 subscribers. And by the way, we're blaming Epstein. Sonny Gray knocked out of the game in the 3rd inning. So my prize pick lineup will not hit. Not feeling great about it because Sonny Gray only had 2 strikeouts and he's already out of the game. So Epstein, we're blaming you. That's Ariel Epstein, not Theo and not Jeffrey. On that note, thank you all for watching. Let's go Knicks later. We are back this afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern. I will talk to you then. Until then, though, I leave you all with a short clip. Sit back and enjoy it. Jets, 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 Jets.
God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go, Jets.